Sometimes nature creates something so weird you really have to see it to believe it. The following story is exactly that. Hi, my name is Sasha. I'm a PhD in cell biology, and I promise you will be impressed with this one. But let's start with the beginning. See, we already know very well when a cell divides how each of the daughter cells gets its own DNA copy. Tiny cables called microtubules drag a fresh copy of DNA to either side. It happens like clockwork over and over again. And it's such a massive, dramatic event, you can see it even through a basic microscope. But cells aren't just DNA. They are, amongst others, packed with tiny engines called mitochondria. These are vital for the cell's survival. So, logically, they also need to be equally divided over the two daughter cells. But how exactly do cells split these engines up evenly? Now, researchers already suspected that actin, which is another cable protein, helps to divide mitochondria in two equal groups. And actin does play a major role in cell division by pinching the cell in half. So it seemed like the perfect candidate. But there was one major problem. The cell surface is so crowded with actin that it's hard to see what it is doing inside where the mitochondria are. Now, by using ultra-high-resolution microscopy, scientists were able to break through. And what they found was stunning. They first discovered this dense web of actin cables that forms a massive 3D scaffold. This web organizes the mitochondria in its pores to keep them evenly spread out through the cell. And when the researchers chemically dissolved the network, the mitochondria would clump together. More importantly, during cell division, the mitochondria were now no longer equally divided over the two daughter cells. So this result already shows how important actin is for mitochondria during cell division. But that was really just the beginning. Deep inside, they spotted something very strange. Thick clouds of actin that would circle the cells every 15 minutes, like a slow-motion wave. When they looked closer, they saw that actin wasn't just passing by. It was actively growing around mitochondria, all the way until it completely surrounded individual mitochondrial strands. Now, if you thought this was already impressive, wait till you see the next part. As the wave hits, the mitochondria suddenly seem to ignite. They start flying around randomly like tiny erratic rockets. Zooming in reveals it's actually a chaotic dance. It even looks like the mitochondria want to escape, but it's a bit different what is happening here. These sudden bursts of movement happen when the actin cloud surrounding a mitochondria suddenly snaps. The cloud then starts falling apart, but not 100%. At some remaining spots of the cloud, actin actually starts polymerizing rapidly, and this launches the organelle forward, with comet tails of actin trailing behind it. There is basically an explosion of force on one side of the mitochondrion, creating a mitochondrial rocket. Now, why all this chaos? At first, scientists thought this was just another way to spread the mitochondria out evenly. But when they used a genetic trick to stop the waves and comets, the daughter cells still got the same amount of mitochondria. The hypothesis was wrong, but the researchers suspected there might be another reason for all this chaos. So they decided to try a bold experiment. They used a laser to damage a small group of mitochondria. And with the actin wave, the healthy and damaged mitochondria mixed perfectly. But without the wave, the damaged ones just sat there in a clump. So the chaos created by the actin wave turns out to be a shuffling trick, just like with a deck of cards. It ensures that every daughter cell gets a healthy balanced mix of engines rather than a pile of junk. So to properly mix and divide mitochondria during cell division, it takes three distinct actin networks: cables, waves, and comets. If you want to dive even deeper in this beautiful story, check out the full link below. Okay, let me know in the comments if you were impressed. And if you want to see more stories like this, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.